Matt, your excitement about this is electrifying and intoxicating. But I would like to say, in no world do we need to lift the temple from Salt Lake and move it through the sky to Missouri. Don't
Well,
think that's ever.
in my
Go
head, it
ahead.
was more like a Wizard of Oz tornado sort of moment,
Oh,
where
okay.
like
Yeah.
it's like twirling through the air.
I'm not a fan of retroactively deciding what prophecy meant. So,
Oh,
like, I feel like this is working backwards and being like, aha, this isn't what he
yeah.
said, but this is what he meant. And now we can see it all falling into place. I'm not that kind of a religious person, but if you are and it excites you, please, please
Well,
enjoy.
no.
Looking for a cool, delicious way to beat the summer heat? Try Postma's refreshing cold beverages. Enjoy a creamy Postma frappe made with milk and just the right touch of sweetener for a smooth, energizing treat. Or dive into a rich Postma milkshake, perfect for those sunny days when you want something tasty and satisfying. Postum gives you that delightful caffeine-free boost with every sip. This summer, chill out with Postum. Refreshment you can feel good about.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Mormons. I'm your host, Matt, and with me, as always, is my brilliant sister, Melissa.
Brilliant. Thanks,
Brilliant.
Maddie.
Brilliant
Thanks.
means different things in different forms of English. Like when my English friends say brilliant, it means different than when Americans say brilliant. But
Okay, so brilliant could
brilliant.
be sassy. It could
Yeah.
be a light shines from me.
Yeah. Both
It
of
could
those
be
are true.
smart.
Yes. Yep. Definitely true.
All of those things are true. Thanks, Matt. Matt, you are my well-informed co-host.
Aw, thank you.
I didn't want to say brilliant because I didn't mean all of the parts of brilliant, just that part of
No.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just well informed. Yeah. Thank you, Melissa.
You're
You know
welcome.
what? This week, if you go over to the Leading Saints podcast, you'll
Uh-huh.
see me on Leading Saints.
I will.
You will
What are you
have.
talking about over there with Kurt Frankham?
You know that he asked a question about we're talking about my book a little bit, but he
Uh-huh.
asked at one point about the audience of the book, and I was like, my sister Melissa will not read this book. So I gave you a shout out on Leading Saints,
Oh, I'm
Melissa.
excited. Who will read your book? Tell the listeners a little bit about it.
This book, I say that we should measure religion differently than how we measure religion. And
Mm-hmm.
if you measure religion by the outcomes that faith is supposed to produce, like whether you're Buddhist or Muslim or Hindu or Jewish or Christian, all religions are trying to help people develop the same kind of virtues. And so if
Mm-hmm.
we measure religion by the extent to which somebody has developed those virtues rather than the way that they practice religion, then you see religion as this positive force in society rather
Mm-hmm.
than this negative force that it sometimes seems to be.
I think it sounds interesting. Is it
Thanks.
published? Sorry, I don't know yet.
It's coming out in October.
Great. And the
Yeah.
title is?
Metrics of Faith.
Perfect.
I didn't choose the title. The
Yeah.
publisher chose the title. So if you want to
And
pay to
normally
publish my book,
authors don't get to choose the title. But if you
yeah,
had been able to title it, would it have been like Brilliance of Saints?
it'd have been like My Sister is Brilliant.
Yeah.
I would have called it The Fourth B, but that's something that only like resonates with political scientists that study religion and politics.
I think it's not a good title.
Melissa's like, fine, stick with metrics of faith.
Mhm.
No,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I can't have it the fourth B, I don't care what it's called. Melissa, you're back to school.
Yep, I am. Yeah, it's been great. I have been having a lovely fall. It's not as good as summer. Fall's never as good as summer, but I've been having a lovely fall.
Melissa, I just remembered something. Oh my goodness. I spent the Sunday night before Labor Day at your house.
Oh, okay.
And I forgot. Never, by the way, listener, never ever 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 spend the Sunday night before Labor Day in Wellsville because
Mhm. Wellsville, Utah,
at 6 in the morning there's a
or
camp
earlier.
shooting off in the neighborhood. I'm
Matt,
like,
I don't think you're telling the story well. I'll take over. Wellsville is a very proud city in Cache Valley, and our city celebration day happens on Labor Day, and it is Wellsville Founders Day. And are there some weird traditions that happen in Wellsville's Founders Day?
Yes.
Absolutely, there are. And you're right. One of them is that the men of the city drive around with a cannon, an actual cannon on a trailer, and light it off. Boom!
It
Boom!
was
And they start at
insane.
5:30 in the morning and they drive through every neighborhood of the entire city, and it takes about an hour to get through the city. I was also shooken awake, and I decided to count the seconds between, like, one blast to the next, and it was approximately every 8 seconds, then a
It was
cannon blast
awful.
went off at, yeah,
And then I
6
was like,
PM.
"Oh, it sounds like it's getting farther away." No, no, it's
Oh,
coming back. For some reason,
yep,
it's coming back.
yeah. Yeah, this is one of the strange things our city does, and we are very proud to be Wells villains, as I call it, Wells
Oh.
villains. Um, but, yeah, that's just one of the weird things. There's many others, as you know. But yeah,
I
I'm
bet
glad you got to experience that.
I bet there are all kinds of Airbnb discounts on that night in Wellsville, and people in Cache Valley are like, "Oh, let's go stay there because there's a discount." Don't do it. Don't do it. You will not be able to sleep through the
I
cannon.
imagine there are 0 Airbnbs in Wellsville. It is not that sort of a town.
Oh, okay.
But welcome, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Melissa, last time we recorded, there were many, many comments to the mailbag, and I
Yeah.
apologize to all of our listeners who wrote in that we're not going to be able to read your comments, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah, we
So,
appreciate you writing in and listening. I'm gonna read one first, okay?
okay.
This is from Bonnie Odd. She said, "Here's the reason that people get upset about church ceilings." Because we talked about this a couple of weeks in a row, that the church,
Yeah.
okay, the church will not do an unsealing without the woman particularly going through a bunch of hoops. Women also have to have another sealing ready to go before a sealing cancellation will be given. So you're divorced for the longest time and you hate your ex-husband, but the church will not undo that sealing. That seems like God forcing you to be with someone you have chosen not to be with. And that was
That's a really
kind of
good
the
point.
point of the article, is that God won't force you to be with anyone you don't wanna be with, but it does seem like while you're in this life and those things are getting worked out, the church is forcing you to be with them.
I mean, Melissa, our parents have been divorced for what, like 40 years, something like that, 30 years?
Yeah,
And they're still sealed in the temple because,
correct.
yeah. And from
Yeah.
time to time, my dad is like, "I'm still your dad forever." I'm like, "You're not even a member of the church." He's like, "Doesn't matter. We're sealed in the temple."
Yeah.
Like, there are church policies that do not make sense to me. There are church policies that are hurtful and painful, and I just have a list of them that there's nothing else I can do but make a list and be like, "I dislike this policy."
I
But
think this is one of those things that we're making secular, and it's a spiritual thing, and we're trying to come up with reasons to make it make sense, and it just doesn't.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There are so many policies, and
Yeah.
they change, and some of them
Yeah.
do change and some of them don't change. When I was really young, I decided I wanted to be cremated after I died, and then
Yeah.
there was a policy that says, "No, you can't get cremated." And I was like, "Ah, man." But
But now
then
you can.
that's right.
Yeah.
So, I just have a list of them.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
wanna get cremated anymore. I wanna get fed to sharks. I want to
I
continue the life cycle.
would love to feed you to sharks. I will do that for you if that is your request.
Okay, well, John Thompson 2256 wrote in, they said, "There are a number of non-coffee options for the Keurig coffee machines, such as hot cocoa, barley tea, herbal teas, etc. So it is not necessarily the case that they are using the coffee machines for coffee. Meanwhile, let us faithful members down a drink of from Swig and an energy drink or two. Cheers."
Cheers, John.
So when they're this is we were talking about how young people ask for coffee machines on their wedding registries.
Yes, because I am under the impression that they interpret the word of wisdom differently, and that maybe coffee isn't against the word of wisdom so much anymore.
But it is against the word of wisdom. Did you know I teach primary? And
Uh-huh.
so this last week when I taught, it was the word of wisdom. So I said, because they're like 9 and 10, I was like, okay, so soon you're going to go to a temple recommend interview. One of the questions is, do you understand and obey the word of wisdom? So I was like, raise your hand if you understand the word of wisdom. And no hands went up, not a single one. Raise your hand if you know what that is. Not a single hand went up. I'm like, wow. 9 and 10-year-olds, and they're all from very active families. They all know
Yeah.
all the church answers to almost everything, but not the
Yeah.
word of wisdom question. So I don't know. We might
You
be
don't
not be doing
know.
a great job of teaching the word of wisdom in our church.
Well, cheers.
Did you know I was assigned to give a talk in sacrament meeting on the word of wisdom last year?
Oh, really?
It wasn't great. I
Yeah.
assumed everybody knew the word of wisdom, so I was
Well,
not excited.
Matt, if what most of the listeners commented on comes to pass, 1 hour church, you won't ever have to give a talk in sacrament meeting again.
Okay, well, that reminds me. There's this other. Now I practice this name, so I hope I got it right.
Okay.
It's Iu. Oh man, Iuletito. Oh man, no. I gotta practice it. Iu.
Iulititio.
Melissa did it. 3642. They wrote in and said, "I love you guys. A little dangerous, but what's life without a little strain, right?
I don't get it.
We're dangerous. I'm glad that they like us. I like us
Wait,
too.
we're
I guess we are a
dangerous?
little. We're dangerous. Okay, let's get to the 1 hour church rumors.
Okay.
I was completely dumbfounded when you shared this rumor because I was like, no way. But
Uh-huh.
apparently, this rumor is not all that new. According to Corey Hewlett 739, 1 hour church has been rumored for years, including the pilot program in Idaho thing. I heard so much speculation about it prior to last general conference, including theories about how it would be done. But this was way before, it was way before that when I first heard of it, including the pilot programs.
Guess what
So,
this tells me, Corey? It's even closer to happening. It's been going on. The pilot programs have been going on for longer than we thought, than we even knew about, which means it could indeed be announced this general conference.
okay.
Rumor verified. Check one.
Lillian, Lillian wrote in. Lillian's pretty well connected. She
Okay.
said, "My Relief Society president told me months ago that there are wards testing 1 hour church." Lillian lives in North Salt Lake. "We have general authorities and former general authorities in every single ward, and it seems like 1 in 10 people is a church employee. So that makes us totally legit.
Yeah, Lillian's legit.
I don't think the testing is happening in my stake, but the people here know stuff. Dun dun dun."
Yeah. Matt,
Um, hmm. Will they announce this in the next general conference? I'm going to say no.
I don't think they have to announce it in general conference. I don't think that's the way we're doing big changes anymore, right?
I put the over under at 5.5 years
You
for
did, and
this.
you're wrong. I say over under. I still say it's coming this year, by the end of the year.
I have a
But
better one than
January
over.
1st, we'll start it.
I have a better one than over under 5 years.
Okay.
Over under the second coming of Jesus Christ. I'm going over
Okay,
because,
you're going
like I
over.
told you, the man with the spreadsheet, he's got that one
Okay.
coming way sooner than 1 hour church.
Okay, well, Matt, I don't want to get our listeners too excited, but the gossip, it was very successful in the ratings. Okay. People liked my gossip. So I do have another piece of juicy information to share with our listeners.
Okay, let's
Um,
hear it.
now, I've heard this also from multiple sources. Okay. This is a very, very, very good rumor. Okay. Are you
Okay.
ready? Dallin H. Oaks, you know him.
Yes, of course.
Dallin H. Oaks is missing. He hasn't been seen in over 2 weeks.
This is
He
not
may have
true.
been murdered. Okay, I'm not just trying to find something salacious.
I'm like, there was a YSA conference that his wife
I'm
just
like,
wrote. It's in our new.
what could be bigger news than that? I know Dallin H. Oaks is missing. He's rumored dead, but nobody's seen him. Okay, I
You
made that up. I'm sorry. That was just completely
you would have
completely
better luck with like President Nelson is an AI bot, an AI chat bot, and he hasn't been
Okay.
alive for a long time.
Okay.
You
Okay.
do way better with that as a fake rumor than the Dallin H. Oaks one.
Or what about instead, President Nelson's wife is going to be on Dancing with the Stars?
Okay, but Melissa, people tune into the podcast to hear actual news, not just stories we make up, so that maybe we can go viral. This listeners, if you endured through that little
I'm
segment,
so
forgive
sorry.
us. Yeah, we're
Yes,
not going to
I'm
do it every
sorry.
week.
This isn't
Yeah.
how we normally roll. I was excited. So, yeah, you forget it.
Okay, so normally Twim takes is Melissa standing up on her soapbox and
Yeah.
then shouting to the world.
Yeah.
But this time it's going to be me doing
I'm
just
so
my
excited.
own Twim takes.
Okay.
Have
What have
you
you
ever
got?
heard of the YouTube channel called Provo's Most Eligible?
I think I've heard of it. It's kind of like The Bachelor, but it takes place at BYU or in Provo.
Yeah. So they a month ago, they dropped this new episode called The Altar, and
Okay,
it's like 10 women and 10 men, and it starts out with they're on the other side of this sheet so they can't see each other, and
love
someone
it.
comes and stands on this platform and sort of says like, "Here's why I think you should date me." And if a guy if let's say it's a woman, if a guy
Mhm.
comes up and he's interested in her, then he'll stand there and they'll sort of talk with each other. And if they
But they
think it's a
can't see each other. They're just talking through the sheet.
Mhm.
This is
And then if
weird.
they decide it's a match, we drop the sheet and then they see each other. And
Okay.
then they go on and do like some silly games and stuff like that where they play truth or dare. They do all kinds of things. And then
Okay.
ultimately it ends at like the altar or something like that. I didn't watch, I can't do reality TV for that long. I only
Okay.
watched just a little bit of this.
Okay, Matt, this sounds like bad TV. I hope it's well edited.
It is very, very popular among the young kids. When I talk to people at BYU, if I say the altar, they all know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
The
Because
thing
it
that
sounds like something that we would put together at like a YSA activity and it would be really shoddy.
that's what it looks like if you watch the videos.
Okay.
But what happens is, like, the very first thing that happens is there's a woman who puts herself out there. She goes and stands and, like, says, "Here's who I am, all about me," and no guys stand up. They just
Yeah.
leave her there, and then she goes and sits down, and
Yeah.
she's out. Nobody picks her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, is this the same thing that the twin sisters were talking about last week?
Oh, maybe they
Uh,
talked about it.
well, okay, so, like, if this the altar you said it's called?
Yeah, the altar.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if this is the same thing, then I do believe that I saw a little bit of this, and if it goes to its full conclusion, somebody wins.
Yeah, yeah, somebody wins. I didn't
Okay,
watch it
they
to the end.
win, and then what do they do, get married?
I should have watched to the end before I had a twin take about it. I
Yeah.
just don't like this. Like,
What don't you like?
I've also seen the ads for the Golden Bachelor. Like,
Yeah.
I I don't like, I understand why people wanna watch it. I just don't like, that's a horrible for the rest of this woman's life,
Yep.
anyone who sees her, it's gonna be, "Oh, remember when you stood up and said, 'I wanna be dating so and so,' and then they, like, shot you down." I hate that. That's a horrible
Matt,
thing to put out there.
dating current dating is just the worst no matter what.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I learned from
literally
this
the
show.
worst.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
That's what I learned from this show. Okay, well, so then the idea like, you have to date in order to fall in love and marry and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So why put all the worst of it out there so that my anxiety-ridden young children watch it and say, "I don't ever wanna do that. That's too hard. That's too awful." Like, I don't know.
Matt,
Yeah.
this is purely for entertainment. It is
Mhm.
also, a very good example of be in the world, but not of the world. The opposite of that. It is being so worldly. It is being like, "Oh, yeah, we can do a dating show." And it's also so cringy because it's things like they have this episode where they have like, you know how in The Bachelor they go to like the fantasy suite or whatever? Yeah, they have a suite where it's a king bed with 2 separate blankets, and they sit in the bed next to each other, each wrapped in their individual blanket. Like, that is cringy. That's weird.
Their tagline
And
should be in the world in a way that makes fun of your faith."
yes, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have much of a soapbox, but I just thought we should talk about the altar and how I hate the altar.
Well, I think what we should talk about is how difficult it is to date
Yeah.
currently, especially as a Latter-day Saint. I think it's hard.
No, I agree, and we're of an age where some of our friends from high school are getting divorced and stuff, and so they're back out on the market again, and I feel
Yeah.
nothing but sadness. I mean, I don't know. Okay, this is my story. I don't know if I told you this story. We
Okay.
were in Germany, and my kids were all getting out their phones doing stuff, and I wanted to be a hip, cool dad who's doing what all the kids are doing. And I was like, "What app are you guys using?" And they're like, "Mutual." And I was like, "Oh, I want to try Mutual. What's Mutual?" So I downloaded the Mutual app. I didn't know what it was. And so I create a profile, and it's like, "Tell us about yourself." And I'm like, "Well, I love my wife. I have a great family. I'm so
Matt, one
happy."
of your students is gonna see you on Mutual.
Well, so, so this was like a year ago. So then I'm like looking at the app, and all it is single people in Germany who are members of the
Uh-huh.
church looking for love. And I was like, this is a strange app. Like, what are you guys doing with this app? And they're like, why are you on this app, Dad? I was like, because I just want to do what everybody else is doing. Then I got home from the United States and I still had it on my phone. And then it was all of the single women in Idaho who were looking for love. And
Matt.
I was like, I need to delete this app. So that
Yeah.
was my foray into mutual. Anyhow, what I saw in that brief moment was I never want to be a single person ever again. Like, that is
Yeah.
not a world I would be happy in.
It's hard. It's so hard. Even at a school like BYU where everybody else is single, everybody else is seeking for the same thing that you are, right? Like a marriage and a family. It's still brutal. It's really, really hard.
One of the women in the altar said it. I thought she said it well. She said the problem with dating in Provo is that no matter how good you are, there's this thought that maybe the next person will be better, that there's so many good people that why should I settle for you when maybe there's somebody else better than you just around the corner if I keep on looking.
Yeah. Well, Sister Oaks, wife of President Dallin Oaks, who has, by the way, been missing for 2 weeks. Nobody knows where he's at. She spoke at a YSA, the big, Utah YSA conference,
Uh-huh.
and she did talk a lot about being single. She was single until she was in her 50s when she married President Oaks as his second wife. But she was like, "Don't delay marriage, don't put it off." Like, she was kind of saying, like, mm, she wasn't saying lower your standards, but she was kind of saying like, "Hey, there is this mentality like, what if I choose wrong? Or yeah, what if there's somebody better?" And she was like, "Get over that. Just get married
Yeah.
and get on with life." Kinda,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's nice sometimes to have a little bit of humility, right? And just be grateful that they're not looking for someone better than yourself. Be like, I'm taking what I can get.
Listen, here's the fact. I've always believed this. Any two people can have a really great marriage together
Mhm.
and have a successful and happy marriage if that's what you want. I'm not saying you should settle. I'm really, really not. And I'm not saying that there isn't a plan and that God doesn't have a plan. I absolutely believe that he does. But at the end of the day, marriage is hard and two people have to want to make it work. And any two people, I really believe, could make any marriage work. I
I
really do.
agree. I think
But
my
that has to be
perspective
what you want, yeah.
I agree. I think my perspective is this. I've decided that it's really hard to find someone you love. Like, finding love is a
Mhm.
hard thing to find. And
Yeah.
so if you find it, you should hold on to it as tight as you can because it's a
Yeah.
very rare thing.
Okay, yeah.
That's my take. Okay, after all the altar and everything, that's where I landed on my take.
Whew, I'm glad we got there, Matt. Hold on to love.
Okay, so quick clips this week, Melissa.
Yeah.
This just dropped. Russell M.
Okay.
Nelson in Time Magazine.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. He wrote a short little article. I loved it. It's really short. We put a link to it in the show notes. If you haven't read it, you should definitely read it. This week was his 101st birthday. And
Yeah.
he writes a little thing. He's like, for the first 40 years of my life, I was a surgeon. For another 40 years of my life, I was an apostle of the Lord Jesus Christ. And he talks about how when he started in medical school, nobody believed it was possible to stop a heart from beating and then have it start again. And he's like, and we showed that you could do that. And then he's like, and in the same way, we have a lot of problems in the world today, and nobody really believes like that we have solutions to those problems, but we do. The gospel of Jesus Christ. We can find love through Christ, and we should share that love with other people. It's a beautiful message.
This is beautiful. I just clicked on the link, Matt, and you're right. This is beautiful. The picture of him is fantastic. This is a really, really nice profile.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is really, really sweet and wonderful. I'm so glad Time decided to feature him. Matt, 101 years.
I know. He also said he never expected to live that long, which
Yeah.
is
Well, who
weird
does?
because
Yeah.
I've always expected to live to be 101.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just an expectation of mine.
I'm just gonna quickly plan my trip to feed you to the sharks. That'll be in 51 years. Okay, got it.
I'm only halfway done with my life right now. Not even halfway.
Well, President Nelson will be 101 when General Conference rolls around next month. And
Oh.
next quick clip is that the church announced that we will, in fact, be holding October General Conference this year. You can plan on it. It's going to happen as per usual.
You know that we
Um,
used to have a priesthood session or
yeah,
a women's session. Now we
yeah,
just get an extra session on
an
Saturday
evening
night.
session. Boo! I don't like it. I really don't.
I don't
Let's
like
get rid
I
of it.
just I revel that it's only an hour and a half. Like, this is the thing, Melissa. If the church moves to 1 hour church,
Yeah.
general conference, every single session. Now I'm going to sound like a heretic. I'll just say state conference. It used to be 3 hour church. State conference was nice because it was only 2 hours, but now it's the same length as regular church, so it doesn't feel so great anymore.
It
If
feels so
all church
long.
is 1 hour and then state conference is two, people will not be happy.
Well, state conference can be one. Fine.
How about that?
Solved. Yeah, I wish they would do either do away with the evening session or go back to the priesthood and the Relief Society session. I liked it when women gathered together. I liked it because then the men got to go out for ice cream and the women got to go
Mhm.
to the Deseret book sale. Like there was traditions around
If we
it.
if we want to have a real like if we want to make a real suggestion, Saturday night should be the children's session, and they just babysit our children for us, and we all go out for ice cream while the
Perfect.
kids sit through more church.
Yeah. Um, Also, the youth theme for next year has been announced.
Mm.
Do you want to guess what it is? I like it when you try to guess.
Faith in every footstep. No, it's got to have Jesus in the name now, right? Jesus
Um,
will wait for Jesus.
it's based on the scripture,
This is my work and
always.
my glory.
No, that was one prior. No, you were closer with faith in every footstep. The theme is walk with me. It's
That's not a scripture.
From Moses 634, blah
Oh,
blah 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 blah. Therefore, walk with me is the very end of it.
there's a really good spiritual call. It goes, "Walk with me, walk with me."
I
Okay.
think this is just the cynical part of me. I think they picked it because it's easy to write songs for. And you know how they like to do all those youth, like, you know, records. What are they called?
Yeah,
Albums.
the album. You know
The
that
all of the singers like to make really hip songs. Walk with Me is really easy theme to work with.
also they were recently sustained. The Young Men's Presidency is brand new and they're calling. So they're probably like,
Yeah.
"Welcome to the Young Men's Presidency." Come up with a theme and they're like, oh no, we don't know what to do." And they just
Yeah.
settled on "Walk with me."
Well, I will say it's not a super well-known scripture, Moses 634,
I didn't
but
know it.
it's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
You remember last time we recorded, I talked about how they were auctioning off a first edition of the copy of the Book of Mormon, and the
Oh, yeah,
opening bid
on
was
the KSL
80,000.
classifieds. Yeah, they were.
No, 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 through an auction house. So I said to you, if you have 82,000, you could buy it. It sold for much more than that. It sold for $240,000.
Really? Do you know
Yeah.
who bought it, if it was a person or, like, a company?
I didn't read the story well enough to find out because I don't care. That seems like a lot of money to spend on a copy of the Book of Mormon. Like
$240,000 is a lot of money.
I have souvenir pieces. I have here in my office, I have a widow's mite that I got at a pawn shop. And I have like little sculptures made out of whalebone that I purchased in Mexico. I've
Yeah,
never spent more than like $100 on a souvenir piece. $240,000 is an insane amount of money for
yeah.
some kind of like souvenir piece.
It's okay, Matt, while you were talking, I did the research, okay?
Oh, hmm.
Okay, first edition has never sold for more than 200,000. The
Oh,
previous high was 180,000, and that copy belonged to Orson Pratt. So, this is
mm,
a yeah. Anyways, Reed Moon bought the book, and he is, the owner of Moon's Rare Books in Utah. So, he collects
hmm.
rare books, and I think he's just waiting for it to go up in price. According to this article, they believe that in the next 10 years, it could sell for 1 million.
So he's probably an investor. It's an
Yeah,
investment, right? That
and
makes sense.
and he
Okay.
does rare books, so yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
the amount of money I paid for the widow's mite far exceeds the true value of a widow's mite from back in the day. So
that's
some
true.
things you can just buy them and hold on to them for a long time, and they'll be worth something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, Matt, next up. Remember a few months ago we did the interview with John Wilson about the church educational system?
Yes.
That was one of my favorite interviews we've ever done. Listeners, you should really go back and give that a listen. It was so interesting. He talked about so many parts of the church educational system:
Yeah.
pathways, BYUs, all of the BYUs, the missions that you could serve as part of the church educational system. And something that he talked about that blew my mind was this new initiative called Succeed in School. and it was just kind of getting started. But now the church has published an article and is really rolling it out strong. So,
Hmm.
Succeed in School is a new initiative by the church. It's in different places around the world. Like I know I think John Wilson said that there's a need for it in Utah, but also in a lot of other countries. But I
Yeah.
believe when he said they were primarily starting it, it was in Africa, and they were really doing a lot of successful things there. Anyways, it's kind of a program that could lead into Pathways, but it's for young people. It's for 11 to 18-year-olds, and it's to help them learn like vocational skills, but also it does like tutoring. It does like test prep, homework help. It's all done by volunteers. I know they feed them in Africa. They feed them dinner every night. Anyways, this program is getting started and getting a lot more attention.
The
It's
story said
really
it's in
cool.
30 countries. 30 countries.
That's amazing.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I do. Everybody should go listen to the John Wilson interview. It
Yeah,
was
he
really good.
explained it
He's a
so
great guy.
much better than I did, but this is just one of those cool things that the church is doing that nobody knows about. And what an amazing expenditure of our funds. Like we're going to see benefits from this for decades to come.
Yeah. Okay, so in sport news,
Oh, good.
athletics,
Yeah.
some members of our church that like to run are like the best in the nation. Connor
Mhm.
Mance, this was in Sports Illustrated. He set the course record at the New Haven Road Race, which is, I think,
Another record.
a feeder into the Chicago Marathon. And
Yeah.
then Jane, I don't know Jane's last name. She was at Timpview High School as a senior. She broke
Okay.
all kinds of national records as a high school senior. Now she's running with BYU's women's cross country team. The women's cross country team won the national championship last year. And this
Yeah.
woman, Jane, when she
Jane
practices with
Hedengren.
when she runs with the BYU women's cross country team, she's like way ahead of the pack. She's so fast. She leaves these national champs a little bit in the dust behind her. So she's
Wow.
a generational talent in women's cross country. There's an article about how the coach is going to kind of take it slow with her and not rush her into things. But we should expect that BYU women's cross country is going to be phenomenal for a
Yeah.
long time ahead.
And we know that their coach is the best in the nation. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Okay, last quick clip, Matt, is there was a stake president in Provo, and he tried to save his chapel before it got swamped and covered in a mudslide. He wasn't able to, but this is the
Yeah.
story. Okay.
No.
Basically, this state president, he's a soil scientist, and the area above the church had been burned in a wildfire, like happens a lot in Utah in the summer. And then he was saying, like, hey, this wildfire, if rain comes, there's going to be a mudslide. It's going to destroy the subdivision, and it's going to destroy the church that I'm the stake president over. And he tried to issue a warning. He tried to get people to put up berms. It didn't happen. A rainstorm came, and sure enough, the mudslide started. The stake president put out an alert to his stake at 1 in the morning and said, guys, we're going to need help in the morning. And then, yeah, basically the story is about how everybody in the community showed up and helped dig the church out of literally tons and tons and tons of mud that got into the building. I think like 1,000 dump trucks full of mud was removed.
Yeah,
Like
there's
a
so much mud
thousand
from
dump
that.
trucks. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be painful when you see it's like you're the person who sees some impending disaster coming and you try to warn everybody and they just sort of
Yeah.
ignore you. Like,
I
that's
know.
that's a sad feeling for the poor
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Poor guy, but he did his best. And then he cleaned up the damage anyway.
Melissa, we're gonna start a new segment this week called Mormons in the Media, and it's gonna go like this: Mormons in the media.
Yeah. This isn't a new segment. We've done this several times before.
I
You just
know.
like to introduce
Repeat.
theme songs, and that was bad. You can do better. Try
Okay.
again. Try again.
Mormons in the media.
See? That was great.
Thank you.
Okay, what you
Okay,
got?
I've got two of them because these are the stories I love so much. So,
Yeah.
first, Taylor Frankie Paul has a new man in her life. She's one of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives women.
Okay. Yeah,
She's
I
the one
like
that
her. She's one of the ones that I really like.
isn't she the one that taught us how to soft pass a friend from friend to friend?
I I don't know, and I feel weird, but I still don't know what that means.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay.
If that is her, which I haven't seen the show, so I don't know. But if it is her,
Okay.
I'm not surprised she has a new man in her life. She's an active dater.
Yeah, she's an active dater, sure.
Okay,
Um, okay, what
and then
else? Thank
we've
you, that
got
was a great story.
we've got congrats to her. And then Dancing with the Stars has Jen Affleck from Mormon Wives.
And
She's
Whitney, both of them are on it.
But the story is that Jen's been injured. Poor Jen.
Oh, oh, no.
Oh, I know. Like, you think, oh, I'll just go on Dancing with the Stars and you think it'll just be all fun. But no, people get hurt on that show. And sometimes people can't finish. I don't know if you remember when Christy Brinkley was on the show and she
I
got hurt
don't?
and her daughter Sailor had to finish out the season for her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this
Well,
happens.
so Dancing with the Stars starts what? In a couple of weeks, their new season starts. It looks like on September 16th. Both of those women are going to be on it representing Mormonism. Well, I'm positive. I'm very excited to see them compete against each other. I hope that they will do takes where they, smack talk or trash talk each other, but also simultaneously build each other up and love each other. And I can't wait for the publicity that this gives to our church.
Melissa, that's not the show. The show is you just go dance. All you do is dance. You
It's not
dance with a
true. There's
star.
voting, there's
Oh.
backstage talk.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's so many interviews that spin out from it.
But so far in the promos, I haven't seen them, so I'm disappointed in ABC for not featuring these
Oh.
two people more than they have.
Oh, okay. Well,
Like I hear
they'll
all
get a
about
lot of
how
attention.
the crocodile hunter's son is going to be on the show. He's not the crocodile hunter, people. He's just the crocodile hunter's son who has his own show now, but still, it's not the same.
Okay. I don't think we watch the same TV as each other.
No, I know we don't. I know. Nobody watches the same TV as me.
Okay. Well, do you think My Mormons in the Media is the story that I really started to tell about Kristen Oaks Baker or Kristen Oaks, sorry, Kristen Oaks, wife of Dallin H. Oaks. Did you hear he's been missing for 2 weeks? Nobody's been able to find him.
I have
Rumors
heard that
are
on this show.
it's just a rumor. Anyways, Kristen Oaks did tell a story publicly about her first date with Apostle Dallin H. Oaks, and I just wanted to tell you this.
Okay.
He brought his daughter with him to their first date.
Oh my. Okay, so wait, she's
Yeah,
50 and he's
yeah.
probably at least 70, right? Maybe
He's a
80.
lot older than her, yeah.
So his daughter is probably her age. In fact, Jenny Oaks Baker is probably even way younger than this wife.
Yeah.
So that could be weird if it was that daughter that
I
is
don't know
like,
which daughter it was,
I know,
but
but
I
it's
think
like,
he needed a chaperone.
that seems weird to me. That seems strange.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
huh.
right. That's why she told the story. She's like, "Listen, y'all,
Melissa, I want
I
you to
just want you to
picture
know that I've been on some bad first dates, but the worst
I
was
want
when
you
he
to
brought his
picture
daughter with him to meet me for the first time."
I want you to picture you die and your husband decides it's time to move on and he
I
decides for
know.
whatever reason to date someone the same age as your youngest daughter and so he
Yeah.
doubles with your youngest daughter. Probably I don't want to say anything untoward towards a missing man, but maybe he didn't know how to relate to her generation, right? Maybe he was like, I won't know what to talk about. Maybe my daughter can help the conversation keep going or something like that.
No, I
Maybe
think he was worried that Kristen was gonna be so hot that he wasn't gonna be able to control himself, and he needed a chaperone there. That's what I
that
think.
makes sense. I could see that. Well,
None of
my
this is true. We shouldn't have even told this story. Moving
well,
on.
she told the story.
That's true. That's
And
true.
if the rumors are true, Melissa, I'm only sad that she's wasting her time talking about this when she should be putting out the alarm. Please help me find my husband.
Yeah.
This is why I also don't think that rumor is true. Okay,
You don't think it's true?
this next story has me upset, but this
Oh,
story did the unthinkable because we talked recently about how Mike Lee is a very polarizing figure and people either
okay.
love him or hate him.
Yeah.
But you know how if you come after the Mormons, You know, if you come after the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we rally around our own, and we don't care whether we forget about all the things that divide us, and we like circle the wagons and we're ready to fight. That's what
Okay.
happened with this Wall Street Journal story. Because
Okay.
Jasmine Rapelye and Mike Lee both responded to this story, and everybody loves their responses. So the story is the Wall Street Journal has a story all about Exmo influencers. And
Exmo?
this ex-Mormon, right? So the headline is Exmo influencers mount a TikTok war against the Mormon Church. And so it's all about the former members of our church who have TikTok channels that attack the church, basically. And so they reached out to active members of the church to say, hey, what do you think? And get their opinion on these things. But the way they wrote the story was so slanted in favor of the Exmo crowd that all of
Mm,
the other people who participated in the interviews feel jaded. But then also the thing
mm.
that they did that made people really mad is one of these TikTok women, she likes to dress up in uh, ceremonial robes from the temple and put it on her TikTok channel. And what they
Oy.
did is they had her stage a photo shoot of her in her ceremonial temple clothes outside somewhere, and they put it in the Wall Street Journal as part of this story. And so people are
Really?
really, yeah. So Mike Lee's point was like, you would not do this to any other church. But for some reason, you guys think it's okay to take something that's very sacred to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints and just put it out there for everyone to see. And it doesn't even contribute to the story. It's not part of the headline. It's not part of the the interviews or the content of the story. It's just something they just threw in there. And so it's got
Huh.
people really upset about this story.
It makes me kind of upset because it doesn't feel like the Wall Street Journal type of journalism, right? It feels
Yeah.
like we're jumping
Yeah.
on
And
the TikTok news style of journalism.
I think you're right. Because I read the Wall Street Journal pretty much every day. And
Mhm.
this isn't the kind of content that I get from the Wall Street Journal. It's like,
Mhm.
what could get us clicks? Oh, these Exmo people have millions of followers on TikTok. Let's see if we
Mhm.
can get some clicks on our story. And so that's what frustrates me about it. It's like, that's not journalism. That's not like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad Mike Lee said something because he does have enough um he's well known enough that people are going to listen to what he has to say. Who's Jasmine Rapelye? I don't know her.
She's on Instagram. I put a link to her little thing in the show notes if people want to
Okay.
see it. But she was one of the people that was interviewed because they're like, oh, here's an influential Instagram person who's faithful.
Uh-huh.
Let's hear what your perspective is. So she kind of gives some backstory into the story that was done. And you can see that they reached out to a lot of different people. They could have written a different story. And so that's why I think it's just so frustrating. It's like they were not at all sensitive to the topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Very
I don't know.
interesting. Well, we're going to jump to big deal, little deal, no deal. And I'm going to go first because I feel like my article is related to what we're talking about. So here's the headline, okay?
Okay.
Exploring the nastiest divide of all in Utah. Latter-day Saints versus former members. That's your
Mhm.
headline. Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1.
Little deal.
I'm thinking big deal in light of this story that you just talked about, actually.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, yeah,
I
that's true.
yeah, well, it sounds like it's something that people are talking about and interested in. This is from the Salt Lake Tribune. Peggy Fletcher Stack wrote it, but it's a lot of interviewing with Patrick Mason. He's great. We interviewed him probably a couple of years ago now. But he's a professor at Utah State and he studies history and stuff like that, sociology, stuff like that. Um, anyways, the point is that um, when somebody leaves the Latter day Saint church, so I guess when somebody's an ex-mo, them and the people in their family who are still in the church, it's kind of like they went through a divorce and that things are really ugly between those two groups currently in Utah. Um,
This
eh,
can't be a new thing, though. That's why I'm saying little deal. Like,
okay.
people who leave the church have been angry at members of the church all the way back to Joseph Smith. And people in the church are angry at those who leave the church, all the way back to Joseph Smith.
Okay, I agree, but I think in light of your previous story, people now have platforms to take that anger to.
Yeah.
And so
Well, in Joseph,
they're airing it like a divorce, but they're airing it, yeah, in kind of ugly ways, both sides.
in Joseph Smith's day, they went to the local courthouse and filed a complaint, and then the people brought up charges on Joseph Smith and put him in jail. Or in
Hmm.
some cases, it led to like literal violent persecution of the members of our church. Like
Mhm.
Oliver Cowdery and David Whitmer went on record testifying legal, and William W. Phelps, I think. I don't want to sully the names of dead people, but many of them went on record accusing Joseph Smith of horrible things. John C. Bennett is another one. And
Mhm.
then they would throw him in jail. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think it's all that new. I agree there's a divide. That's probably,
Here's the
I don't
thing,
know.
there is no family that's immune from this. Every
Sure.
single family has people who are in the church and people who are out of the church, at least every
Yes.
single LDS family, right? And, I think that families are such an important part of our religious belief, right? That families are to be forever. And so, as people who stay in the church, they do sometimes get mad at people who leave because it's like, hey, you're ruining my eternal family, or hey, they get worried, they get sad, but sometimes they kind of get ugly and mean and judgmental. And I don't think that's good. But I really, really also don't like when ex-Mormons, kinda go on this agenda to point out all the things that believing people are wrong about. And I think it's not good. Remember last week, Matt, you talked about that Inconvenient Faith
Yeah.
series
Yeah.
that's, put out by Robert Reynolds?
Yeah.
Um, I think that is something that I would direct all people back to. I've watched a little bit more of it since we talked about it, and I
I
think it
like it.
addresses this kind of a thing where it's like
Yeah.
2 people can look at the same information, church history, church doctrine, whatever it is, and those 2 people can both come to different conclusions based on the same information. But if you're willing to, have a loving heart and have an open heart and kind of just try to understand that just because you believe something and somebody else believes something different, it doesn't mean that they don't know the truth. It just means that they come to a different conclusion based on the truth. I think that's
Yeah.
a helpful starting place. And I wish that we could all do that with each other.
Okay, so my topic's kind of related.
Okay.
Ready?
Mhm.
Questions at the font. Journalists visit the Mormon temple. Big deal,
Okay.
little deal, no deal. Three, two, one.
Big
Little
deal?
deal? I
Are
mean, I
if
would say if it was a
journalists are gonna write about the temple, I think that's a big deal.
yeah, I would say it's a big deal if anybody read newspapers anymore. So it came from a newspaper. So it's only a little deal because people don't get their news from newspapers. But
Okay.
this journalist writes about his experience. It's a Philadelphia journalist. He's in writing in Philadelphia. He writes about his experience going to the Philadelphia Temple Open House years ago. But
Okay.
I like it because in the story, he starts out with all of these crazy things people say about members of the church and how he went to the temple and in the temple open house learned very different things about the church. And so
Uh-huh.
I just want to highlight this story because it's true that if you go and experience something yourself, you're going to have a very different impression than if you just read about it online.
That is true. That's why I think temple open houses are such a great thing.
Yes. And this is back to your story about this divide and all of this stuff. This is why it's not great to go air your dirty laundry on the internet and social media
Mhm.
because you stop people from having authentic experiences themselves because they feel
Hmm.
like they know everything they need to know because they've
Mhm.
experienced it through your dirty laundry channel. And so it's the best
Interesting.
not to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's shift gears, Matt.
Okay, okay.
First of all, I have to know how much you believe in a few things. Okay. On a
Okay.
scale of 1 to 10, extraterrestrials have made it to Earth.
10. 10 means I
Yeah.
believe it 100%.
Yes. You
10.
believe that 100%.
Yes.
Okay. Um, Noah's flood actually happened. The entire Earth was covered by water.
Oh, 10.
Okay. All right. How about Skinwalker Ranch? You know what that is in
Yeah,
Utah,
I know what
Skinwalker
that
Ranch?
is. I watched Skinwalker Ranch, that whole
Uh-huh.
series. I
Uh-huh.
was so disappointed to see the Utah Attorney General show up on that series. I was,
Okay.
what are you doing on here?
Do you
While
believe
I
in
was
it?
watching it, I was a 10, but after it finished, I was more like a 3.
Okay. Okay. Loch Ness Monster.
I'm gonna be about a 4 on that.
Oh, okay. Wow, you felt that was remarkably a big drop. Okay. How about Bigfoot, Yeti?
Like, does it exist anywhere in the
Uh-huh.
world? I'm gonna say about 8.
About 8. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're ready for my headline.
Okay.
Okay. Biblical killer Cain lives? Question mark. Mormon folklore says Adam and Eve's outcast son may be Bigfoot.
Oh, no, I know this story. Well, not this
Bi-
story, but
Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1.
no deal.
Little deal.
Melissa, did you know that if you read the book The Miracle of Forgiveness, Spencer W. Kimball tells this story?
He says that Cain is Bigfoot?
He tells the story that David W. Patton told, that like he's riding on a horse or something like that, and this man walks up to him that's basically Bigfoot, and
Yeah.
it's Cain. He's still alive on the earth. Like that first
Yeah.
time I heard about that was reading Miracle of Forgiveness. I was like, what? This is insane.
Okay, there are yes, that is one of the stories. There are apparently quite a few stories of people who say that yes, they found a Bigfoot. Bigfoot came up to them and said, "I am Cain. I am Cain."
I love
I
our church so much.
Matt, this is not our church.
They're members of our church. I love the members of our church so much. I
Yes.
mean, have I had experiences I can't explain? Yes, I have. But this isn't one
Okay,
of them.
I'm just confused. Maybe I don't understand the Bible. Did Cain get some sort of a thing that happened where we believe he lives forever?
No. After he kills Abel, there's language to the effect of you'll be cursed and you'll be a vagabond wandering throughout the earth, things like that. So some
But
people
not forever
believe
and ever, and you'll never die.
no, that's well, some people believe that that's what it means.
Uh-huh.
You could interpret it that way. I
Okay.
don't know. I can't remember the context of why Spencer W. Kimball said it in The Miracle of Forgiveness.
Yeah.
It seemed like totally out of nowhere. But when I
Yeah.
read it, I was like, what? This,
Okay.
by the way, this is why I wish. You know that if you want to go and read old General Conference talks, you can only go to 1971.
Mhm.
I wish we had digitized. I mean, they're out there, but I wish we could read all of them all the way back to 1900 because the stories we could read in General Conference would be so fun.
Yeah, I feel like this makes us look so weird, okay? Like, I don't care if you believe in Bigfoot, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Bigfoot is Cain, and he's wandering the earth, and then he comes up to certain special, like, general authorities and leaders of the church and is like, "P.S. I'm Cain." Like,
I love it.
what?
You've heard
And
those three
where
Nephite
what about
stories, right?
evolution? I'm confused about how it's Cain, but now he's Bigfoot. Like, this is a
Well,
different evolutionary creature as my understanding, or was Cain born? I'm
when
just what
when
are
you
we
asked
talking about?
when you asked if I believe in Bigfoot, you didn't ask if I believe that Cain is Bigfoot,
No,
and
no,
those are
no.
two very different things.
Yes, how do you feel on that though, 1 to
I
10?
I don't believe that. That's a 0. So I can't
Let's
really explain why people believe that.
let's stick with believable rumors like an apostle
Oh,
missing for
jeez.
2 weeks as opposed to
I love
folklore.
that. I love that the sister or no, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. That's great. That's good publicity. That we believe that Cain is Bigfoot. Boo, boo. How dare we say such crazy things? Let's just
You're
stick with
right.
our like.
You're
I
right.
love
Fair. That's fair.
I love the variety of perspectives we get in our church.
Okay, you're right. Thanks, Matt.
Speaking of which, here's my headline: How a
Okay.
professional skateboarder, Sean Sheffrey, found hope, peace, and a new life with Christ. Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1. Big
Little deal?
deal. No way. This
Hey,
guy, he is a Hall of Fame skateboarder.
Okay,
and
I'm
he's
sorry. I wish I knew who he was. I don't. Okay,
well, that's
tell
okay.
me. Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame skateboarder, and he talks all about his faith in Jesus Christ and how he's a faithful member of our church, and I love it. Because when I was a kid, when I started getting to skateboarding a little bit, and the adults around me said, "Don't you do that. Skateboarders are wicked people.
They
Skateboarders are
did
up to no
not.
good." 100%. You don't want to hang out with those kids. They're not the kinds of people you want to be with. And I
Hmm.
love, like, one of the best skateboarders the world has ever known is a faithful member of our church. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think that's great too.
I'm going to
Um,
thumb my nose at all those adult leaders who told me to stop skateboarding.
okay, you should thumb your nose at them. And I think this is great. And I wish that I knew about this person as much as I know about the cross country team and Bryce Harper, but I think this is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared this story. Now, my big question is, does he have tattoos?
Let's see if I can find a picture. I'm gonna Google his name,
Yeah. No, I
and then
don't
I'll just
care.
put the word
I'm just
tattoo
saying,
after it.
is that why people were judgmental about skating? Is that why you felt judged about skating?
It's because they had, like, holes in their pants,
Right.
or
You're right.
they wear baggy pants. When I was young, President Hinckley would talk about how it's irreverent to wear sloppy clothes, and
Mm, like
so,
maybe he
like,
wears a hat backwards or something.
Sean definitely does. I'm looking at pictures of him. He is a handsome guy, and I
Yeah.
see no evidence of tattoos, but my goodness. Melissa, how sad you didn't know this guy. He's great. I like Sean. Uh,
Sean,
I
please
think that
reach out.
my
We'd love to interview you on This Week
yeah,
in Mormons. We'd love to
I
talk to
promise
you
to talk about
about
something
your
other than how
solid good looks and your
I will
backwards
not
hat.
I will not objectify you, Sean. We'll talk about you as a person, but while acknowledging that everyone will be able to see how gorgeous you are.
All right. You have one more story for us, Matt?
Okay, now this story, I'll put a link to it in the show notes. It's a video. Okay,
Okay.
back in the sesquicentennial of the dedication of the Salt Lake Temple, or it might have been the sesquicentennial with the pioneers crossing the plains. Anyhow, this would be 1997 ish. But in
Okay.
the early 90s, Boyd K. Packer gives a talk in General Conference, and he talks about the pioneers building the temple in such a way they were using technology beyond their current technology. They knew things we didn't know, and he talks about how in the foundation of the temple they built in these 6 arches so that if some force should need to lift it up and move it, it could do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. Is this similar to the other piece of Mormon folklore about how the Salt Lake City temple had this open shaft and nobody knew what it was for, but it turns out later it was the perfect size to put an elevator and that's where they needed to put the elevator. Which,
Well, that's
by the
also
way,
true.
no, that's been proven false since then. That was one of those like fake stories that circulated for years, but wasn't true.
Oh. Well, this one is actually true. I will put a
Okay.
link. There is a link to a video where you can actually watch Boyd K. Packer saying this in General Conference. But no, he actually
Okay.
says this about there's these 6 that they put it in the foundation so that if some force would need to lift the temple and move it, they could do so. And of
Okay.
course, when I first heard that, I was like, "Oh." And I think that Boyd K. Packer might have even hinted at it in the talk. Oh, if the Saints go back to Jackson County, Missouri, there can be some force just picks up the Salt Lake Temple and moves it all the way to Jackson County, Missouri, and then the Salt Lake Temple could be planted in the place where we haven't think of all the temples we're building, we haven't rebuilt that temple. We haven't built the temple in Jackson County, Missouri. So initially, like that's what I thought. Oh, that's what he's talking about. But there's this YouTube guy. I should cite these people
Wait,
better.
wait. Also, I'm sorry, before you go on, I do appreciate that you always refer to people as the YouTube guy or the man with the spreadsheets. And we did have multiple listeners last week comment, "Oh, the man with the spreadsheet? I know who that is, Matt. Yeah, I know who the
Right.
man on
And
YouTube
then
with
they
the
told us his
spreadsheet is."
name, and I
Yeah.
immediately forgot what the
So this
person's
is
name was.
someone else.
This
There's
is
this
not the man
another
with the
man
spreadsheet.
on YouTube.
But this is a good point. He's like,
Uh-huh.
maybe Boyd K. Packer was prophesying about the renovations that are happening to the Salt Lake Temple right now. So maybe the lifting up of the Salt Lake Temple isn't to move it to Jackson County like I thought it was. Maybe he's just saying the pioneers knew that at some point it might need to be lifted up, which it was. The whole temple has been lifted up and it was put on all of those things so that they could redo all of these sorts of things. And so maybe that's what Boyd K. Packer was
So
talking
they
about.
they had to lift the temple up to make it earthquake proof. So they
Right.
literally like completely lifted it out of the ground
Yeah.
and then
They dug
rebuilt.
all the way down below the foundation of the temple,
Mhm.
and then they put
Mhm.
these things underneath the foundation of the temple to hold it in place. And so
Mhm.
maybe what Boyd K. Packer was talking about was not what I thought it was, but maybe he was just saying if that the pioneers knew that maybe someday it would have to be moved, and so they created it in such a way so that with now our modern technology, it could be held up and repaired.
Matt, your excitement about this is electrifying and intoxicating. But I would like to say, in no world do we need to lift the temple from Salt Lake and move it through the sky to Missouri. Don't
Well,
think that's ever.
in my
Go
head, it
ahead.
was more like a Wizard of Oz tornado sort of moment,
Oh,
where
okay.
like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
it's
yeah.
like twirling through the air.
I'm not a fan of retroactively deciding what prophecy meant. So,
Oh,
like, I feel like this is working backwards and being like, aha, this isn't what he
yeah.
said, but this is what he meant. And now we can see it all falling into place. I'm not that kind of a religious person, but if you are and it excites you, please, please
Well,
enjoy
no,
this story.
I'm still holding out hope that there's going to be the Wizard of Oz tornado moment
I
with the
know you
Salt Lake
are.
Temple,
Yeah,
and it's going to
I know you are.
and land on that like seashell-looking temple that they have in Jackson County. No, it can land right next to that. It'll have the
Okay.
temple in Jackson County, and then
Okay.
people will
Matt,
be very glad that they bought storage units in that area and stored their
yes.
jet skis and stuff there because they won't be able to move it by that point.
Okay. Okay. Matt, before we do this week in Mormon history, I would like to just overview what we've accomplished today in this week in Mormons.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's recap.
There were zero actual news stories. The only
That is
actual news
not true.
story was that General Conference is going to happen and there's a new youth theme. Every other story was pretty much
No, we
we
have
had to
Russell.
make do with it. No, we had to make do
Oh
with a
yeah.
lot of non-stories. And listeners, if this episode wasn't what you're used to, hey, we did the best we could with the limited stories that were out there this week.
We
Okay, I'm
warned you what
sorry.
happens. We warned you
And
what
we did our
happens in
best.
August. Like
That's
August is
right.
slow news.
There
Like
is no news,
right.
and we did our best. Okay, now just to clarify, Elder Dallin H. Oaks is not missing. Okay,
No.
Bigfoot is not Cain, and there will not be a Kansas-style hurricane moving the temple from one site to another.
So
Okay,
far.
but we've really enjoyed sharing this hour with you. Now, Matt, this week in Mormon history,
85 years ago. Seems just like yesterday.
doesn't it?
This is George F. Richards' diary. He says, I had a meeting with the temple presidency of the Salt Lake Temple, instructing them, as counseled by the First Presidency and the 12, this day to discontinue the ring service in sealing, i.e., marrying couples with where such ring
Oh,
service or ceremony is used. Also, to discontinue prayer rooms provided with altar, etc., for individual use. So, you know how I have this
oh,
list of policies I want to have changed in the future?
yes,
I've
yeah.
also got a list of things I want to go back to. I want to
So
go
you
back
want to
to
go back to
using the altars in the temple for personal use.
for personal prayer.
Right,
Why not?
right.
Listen,
That's
there's a lot of temples, there's a lot of altars that aren't used constantly.
hmm
I
So
think
many
it's a great
people
idea.
want to go to the temple to pray, and you
Yes.
say, "Can I go? I just want to go to the celestial kingdom," and or sorry, the
So
celestial
both.
room.
I want to do both.
And the whoever's in charge will say, in order to go to the celestial room, you need to do some kind of an ordinance first, because
Right.
the celestial room isn't a place to just hang out and pray. But I think that there are all of those rooms in the temple where you could just
Yeah.
go hang out and pray, and I think
Also,
it'd be
when you
nice.
go to the celestial room, you're just sitting on a couch or a
Yeah,
chair.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm in favor of that. Now, they did get rid of the ring service. You can still exchange rings in the temple, though. It's just not part of the ceremony.
No, no, no.
Yes. Yes. When
Oh,
my daughter
really?
was sealed, her sealer said, okay, now we're done with the marriage part, the sealing part, but you guys have rings to exchange. And they just did it. They just exchanged rings there and gave
They
them
don't
to
do
each
like
other.
over the altar or anything though, right?
I don't think so. I think they were just standing, waiting to leave. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
here's the last one. Oh no, there's two more.
Okay.
95 years ago, First Counselor Anthony W. Ivins computes that the church lost $6 million in stock investments and $900,000 in loans and business transactions with the presiding bishop, Charles W. Nibley, before his appointment as the second counselor in the first presidency in 1925.
Oh, $6 million in
Yeah,
1925?
I know. I
That is
know.
so much money.
Yeah. So I think that there's this feeling that people who are called to positions of authority in the church are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this story because as presiding bishop, Charles W. Nibley lost the church by this calculation, $6.9 million, and as a result was put in the first presidency.
Good. I like that.
Right.
I
It's
like
like,
that. Yeah.
look, people make mistakes, people do dumb things, people, whatever. Who knows
They're
what
just
happened?
human. They're just
Yeah,
human.
they're just
Yeah.
human. And just because you lose a lot of money doesn't mean that your progression in church authority is ended. You can still be called to the first presidency even after making a terrible some bad financial decisions.
Financial investment.
Okay, 75 years ago, the first early morning seminary with 198 students is organized in Southern California under the direction of Ray L. Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
75 years ago. So it was early morning seminary. Do you know if they had in school seminary in the 50s?
In school seminary, I believe, started in 1938. So they already had
Okay.
in school seminary, and then they said, hey, let's start an early morning program in California.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, it should all go back to that. We should all
Obviously,
just switch it all to early morning.
we've ranted about this before. We have a proposal ready when the first presidency is ready to read it. We are in favor of all early morning / in the evening, no in school seminary.
At
That's
some
our
future
proposal.
date, they're going to be like, during the pandemic, they started online seminary with
Mhm.
15,000 students. And we'll be like, wow, early morning doesn't seem so hot anymore compared to that. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for listening to us. We had a number of viewers on YouTube last time we recorded. And if you're back on YouTube again, welcome back. If you haven't seen us on YouTube, you're going to want to maybe join that crowd and see all of
Because
the
we
great
are
things.
so good looking.
But if you just want to keep listening to the podcast, we're fine with that too.
Yep.
Also, I have another podcast called The Latter Day Lens. It's so fun. There's no video of that one. That one's all audio. Let's see. You can send us an email.
Yep.
A lot of people choose not to send us emails, but you can contact at thisweekinmormons.com. And we'd just like to thank you for listening to the ever imitated, never duplicated, original Mormon News podcast, not to be confused with the Mormon Rumors
This
podcast
week
from
in
Melissa and
Mormons.
Spencer. We will
I'm not
not
doing
start in.
rumors anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm
That's right.
sorry.
Mormon News, that's what we do. Come back again next time. Good job.